So how do I deal with entrepreneur pride? Honestly, if I mention something to him and he'd be like, look, y'all don't know what I'm doing or whatever, I just be like, okay. But I take all the pride when I see exactly what I said and told him to do come forth because he ain't want to listen. And sometimes you have to let your partner fall when they don't take your advice and they don't want to communicate. So that's what I do.
I let him be. Because I understand, like, when you have a vision of something and you want people to buy in so bad to it, nobody's gonna believe in you, whatever you have going on, no more than you. And so I feel like as a person, and not even just being with him, but anybody who talks to me about their vision, you know, I'm like, yeah, hoorah, like, let's see where that goes. But I've also seen him, I'm able to let him be because he carries out the vision of his pride.
It's funny because I think it goes two ways. So I say for Kendall, like, not to do that with his business and that he has help. But then I remember in building mine, I was doing the same thing. I wasn't taking advantage of my resources and the people around me asking for help to help me build and continue to grow. So I guess when you own something or when you feel like you've done something by yourself for so long, you can get a little arrogant and have a little ego about it because you're like, this is my stuff. You can't tell me. I don't want to accept no constructive criticism because I did this by myself. But at the same time, you're actually putting yourself at a disadvantage because when you have people around you that are willing to help you, you're losing because you're not opening up to getting the help.
I think I don't blame people for having that because that's what got them to where they needed to be. Because if you didn't have that, you really have to have that strong-mindedness or that strong will to be like, man, forget what y'all talking about, this is what I'm doing and it's the best thing ever. And that's what got people off of from ground zero to 100. But at the same time, pride in a relationship just doesn't really work. I think there's a fine line between having confidence and being confident and where the pride is an overflow and it's like, you gotta pull back from that a little bit. And let me help you pull back and here's something else that you should consider and here's why.
We have pride and we're expert in what we're doing and don't want to take critique. It doesn't go far and it usually proves itself every single time. That's how I deal with it. I don't argue with him about it and we just keep it moving. I let him do his thing when it comes to that. I'll give my opinion, especially if he asks, but usually volunteering information and he'd be like, well, you know, this is how I do it, this, and I'd be like, okay.
So I make sure that he knows that I'm supportive, which I am genuinely supportive, and whatever it is else he comes up with, because he comes up with ideas every other day about what he wants to do, I'm just like, all right, babe, what are we gonna do next? You know, and so I think it's just important for me and dealing with his entrepreneurship pride is just to be supportive.
I think that it's twofold. I mean, I can see both sides of the coin, so I don't know how I deal with it. I don't know.
I don't think there's I think that's an individual thing that you have to work on for yourself. And it's really tough, really, really tough as an entrepreneurial spouse, significant other to manage that because sometimes you just gotta let the ego deflate itself. And I think entrepreneurs' situations will deflate that ego real quick. For those that are supporting entrepreneurs, sometimes you just really have to be quiet and to let other people give the feedback. And then you can co-sign on that feedback, but you can't initiate it to get them to shift their perspective or to try to deflate that ego.
She asked me extra questions. She could add extra.
Question 12.
Question number 12.
I don't play. I can't do it. I can't go back.
Oh, that's right. Woo! This my vision. This my plot of land.
Everything mine.
Woo! Entrepreneurial pride. So I don't know anything about it. Can you tell?